Hi, everybody. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So I'm gonna put a little message in the chat box. And if you have any questions that you want to ask while we're meeting up today, you can post it here. I sent out a message yesterday, kind of giving a little bit of new information about the class, but I'm going to go over my first announcement that I sent out on Monday, and then kind of just talk through the class, and then give you the opportunity to ask questions if you have them, so we can kind of move forward towards next week. Anybody have any questions just to start off? I know a lot of people are busy and have other things, and a lot of times people want to know how long we're staying on. We probably won't be any more than 30 minutes. It'll just depend on questions and what's being discussed. And I will be posting a recording of the update that I'm doing this week. So if you want to go back and get answers to questions that you may have heard but can't remember, I will be posting that on Thursday at the end of the week. And as I said before, you can always come to any of the meetups. You only need to come to one during a week, but you can come to any of them and it can count as your class. I know that sometimes people have work or kids or other classes. And what I'm trying to do is just make it accessible to you and work in your schedule. And they're not mandatory, but it is an opportunity for you to get a little bit more explanation on the lectures that I'll be posting and the PowerPoints that I'll be posting, and to get help with your speeches. So for example, if you want to practice your speech or you want me to look at your blueprint or any of that stuff, it'll make it a lot easier if you're coming and checking in the Zooms. So any questions before I get started? Good morning to those who just came in. Yes, sir. Connor, you got a question?
Yes, ma'am. I couldn't find the required textbook in
I will
paperback.
show you that. Yes, perfect. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Good question, Connor. And if you're new to COS, then you may be just getting familiar with how to get on Canvas. The best way to do it is, once you get on there, to bookmark it on your internet site or your web browser. But if you are looking to get on in a way that you can't remember how to really get on there, and you know that you can get to the cos.edu website, then just go to that page, click this orange My Giant, and then that's going to take you to the campus portal. The great thing about this portal, I don't know if you've ever looked at it before, but they have got a link about, it's called Job Seeker, that tells you about jobs that are available to COS students and students in the community, or just people in general. They've got information about the bookstore, how to get your books, the link to the website, financial aid, all kinds of things are on here, including your email link to check your campus email. So I highly recommend using this. If you want to drop or register for classes, this banner web link is great. But our bullseye is right there for Canvas. You click on that, and that's going to take you into the portal. If you look at it right now, you're seeing mine. So all of these classes that are listed here are your classes, are my classes that I teach. If you look at your portal, you're going to see all the classes that you're taking or registered for this semester. So if I click on our class, and I think our code is, let's see, 24571. Let me find it right up here. So if I click on that, I'm going to look at this through student view. Right now it's through the faculty view. It gives me the chance to build the class and all that other stuff. But I'm going to look at it through student view, and this is what you should see. So on the home page, the first thing that you'll see is like the most recent announcements. For example, last night I sent out this message saying, hey, if you can't make the 9:10 a.m. time, On Thursday morning, you've got these other 3 classes that are available on Wednesday. If you can't make the Wednesday time, then I've got a Thursday morning time. So I did have different offerings that you could come to for that I posted. So that would be the most recent announcement. But for this week, if you go to the announcements, you'll see that the first one that I sent out was on Sunday night. Sometimes I'll post it Sunday night. It's not for you to worry about until Monday. But if I'm working on it on Sunday, I post it early for people because I know sometimes the weekend you have a little bit more time sometime. But Monday is really when, I'm looking at you to kind of look at this and know this is what the projection is for the week. So if you look at this announcement, this gives you information about the class calendar, the syllabus, the week 1 modules, the course materials. This is kind of where you would find where the textbook is. And the textbook is a free textbook online. So all it is you click this link. It's going to take you directly to where your textbook is. And these are all the chapters. You don't have to buy anything. It's just a free book that's online that I'm using for the class. And so, for example, if you, let's see, hold on one second. I'm going to make this go away. If you go to pages, you'll find it there. But what I would do, again, I would bookmark this page. I would just add bookmark to my internet web browser. And that way I know where the textbook is at all times if I need it. But if you don't want to bookmark it, which is totally fine, then you know that it is available in the syllabus. There's a link posted in the syllabus. There's this course materials posted in pages. And I also, in the modules that we have here, it will tell you from week to week what you have to be reading. So for example, next week, underneath week 2, it's going to say week 2's participation assignment. And then this is going to list the chapters that you should be reading for that particular week. And what I try to do is I only put the chapters that are connected to what we're talking about. So I put the link in there to say, hey, read this chapter. So it'll either be in the week 2 link, what chapters you have to read, or it'll be in this announcement that comes out on Monday. So for example, next week, it'll say speech advice weekly update number 2. So you know that that's the second week update. That'll tell you, okay, these are the things you need to do for the week, etc. The class calendar tells you all the dates of when things are due. So for example, if you want to know when I'm having Zooms, when speeches are, when speeches have to be uploaded, all of those details are in that calendar. And again, the Zooms are optional, but the ones in April are mandatory because you have to deliver 1 live speech. So these dates down here, what I highly suggest is that you put them in your calendar right now as days that you should be trying to manage to either get off or schedule a babysitter or make sure that if you can't make that class, you're making another class, because you have to deliver a live speech and you have to watch some live speeches before you can get out of the class and pass it. So those dates are dates that you just want to make sure that you're kind of planning ahead for those weeks. So for example, Monday of that week, which would be the 12th, and then Monday through Thursday, I'll be having live speech days. So you could come to one of those days and get it over with. But again, those are just things to keep in the forefront of your mind so you can plan ahead. It's not something that you need to worry about early on. That's one of the last speeches that you're going to give in this class. Now, one thing that you could do to jump ahead of everyone is you could jump to week 3 and click on this Google Doc that's right here. We will be having interviews that week. There'll be no Zoom meetups for the class. It'll only be a personal Zoom meetup. So for example, Connor and I would come on, he'd talk to me about, his major and what he's thinking about for his first speech and how he's feeling about the class. If he has any questions, quick 3-5 minute one-on-one meetup. The way that he signs up for that is he clicks that link right there and he's going to put his name in the date and the time that he wants. And then he's going to put which class he's in, which is COM 1. I'm going to actually put it here, CRM. I'm going to say, give me your CRN or course code, because it'll make it easier for me to give you your grade once this is over, once the interviews are over. So for example, Norma, Isabel, Connor, everybody that's in the class right now, your names are going to be all over this form, and you'll see some people are starting to sign up for days and times, but you just need to make sure that you're signing up for the day and time that you want. And again, that is the only thing that you have to do that week, except for making sure that you're turning in the assignments that are due, that I'll post about on week 3. So on Monday, you'll get an announcement saying, you know, you have a famous speech critique due this week. And then it's going to tell you, don't forget that you have an interview with the teacher. Sign up at this link if you haven't signed up already. And if you miss the interview, that, you know, you're not going to be able to make it up. So please make sure you don't miss it. Unless you have a viable excuse. But anyway, any questions about anything I've discussed so far before I move on?
How do I get to that again? You said I go to my courses and announcements?
Yeah, so to get to that Google Doc, just go to class calendar if you want to get there earlier. And then go to week 3 right here.
Okay.
And that Google Doc right there.
Week 3. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so the other thing that's in announcements is your syllabus. And this announcement, or, you know, syllabus document, I kind of look at like a prenup. I jokingly say that, you know, this is kind of, we're lawyering up, and I'm saying, this is what I expect for the relationship. And you're coming in and saying, okay, I'm willing to do that, or I'm not willing to do that. If you're not willing to do it, then you can drop the class. If you are willing to do it, then you're going to stay in the class. And the way that we make it work over the course of the semester is I say, hey, if you do all these things in this document, then you're going to make an A in the class as long as you do well on them. And then you say, okay, look, I'll stay in the class, but don't add any extra work other than this. So I can't go in and say, okay, you know, we need to have another test. I only listed a midterm and a final, but I'm going to add another test. As a teacher, I can't do that unless it's listed in my syllabus. That is part of my prenup. Just like I can't take away a speech and not give you the points for it. That is my requirement as a teacher. I have to make sure I uphold what I say I'm going to do. And the same thing goes for you. If you stay in the class, there's 5 speeches that you have over the course of the semester. You got to give those speeches. And if you don't give them, then that's going to be detrimental to your grade. And if we don't follow the syllabus, either me or you, we could have a nasty divorce at the end of the semester, which I know we don't want. And so what we're trying to do is just make sure that we're working together, and then we can say, hey man, look, we had a great relationship. I can tell my fellow teachers about you. You can tell your fellow students, hey, take this comm class. It worked out great. But if we don't follow the syllabus, you're going to get frustrated and I'm going to get frustrated. So I really would recommend, more than even the class calendar, making sure that you read through the documents that are connected to the class. So in this document, it says, you know, this is what the speech advice discussion tab is. That's if you have a general question about the class. I would post it there instead of sending a private message to me. And the reason for that is other students may have the same question that you have. And so that's kind of a way to raise your hand in the class and say, hey, you know, when is that speech due? And then I can just answer it and everybody can see the answer. If you private message me in a message on Canvas, then not everybody's going to see that question and the answer. I also answer Canvas messaging the most. You're welcome to text me or call me. But more often than not, I'm on Canvas throughout the day. I get notifications all the time. The textbook is linked here as well. And you will need a computer, obviously, online class, and you're going to need some way to video or record your speeches. So either a camera on your phone, camera on your laptop, camera on your computer, and then you'll upload those to either YouTube or to Canvas. And post those after you give them, and then we'll kind of watch them in, you know, our own time. Your last speech, or one of the last speeches, is the live speech though. And a lot of students I know are nervous about public speaking. You know, sometimes there have been studies that say that people fear public speaking more than they fear death. And so that means people would rather be in a coffin than be in my class. And I try to make that not the reality. I'm trying to make it easy and comfortable and safe. So I'll do whatever I can to kind of make it more comfortable for you as speech days come up. So if you need to practice with me, if you're anxious about recording it, you know, a lot of students feel better in an online environment, but some get really nervous because they think about, oh, I want to record it perfectly, or, oh man, people are going to be able to look at me over and over. I don't want to do this. And in reality, if you post it to YouTube and you do it unlisted, the only people who are going to see it is in the class, unless, you know, people go to the end of the internet and finally find it. But that more than likely it's never going to be seen again except for us. So try to let go of some of those issues around, you know, worrying about who's going to watch it and who's going to see it. Focus on giving a really, you know, smooth, delivered, and well-prepared speech. That's the goal of the class. This tells you all the assignments, where the points come from. As I said before, you have a midterm and a final. You also have participation points. If I offer participation points in the Zoom meetups, I will also post that same participation or something like it online. So if you miss the Zoom meetup, you will have an opportunity to try to get those participation points. But, you know, a lot of the participation points are things like this week, you know, post to the introduction page, or, you know, this week do this activity. You have 3 different or 4 different famous speech critiques over the course of the semester. So make sure that you're aware that, you know, when you do those, you're talking about the strengths and weaknesses, about what you liked in those speeches. It's not academically research based. You're not going and citing sources or anything like that. It's more you just kind of looking at the content of the speeches and kind of what you liked and what you didn't like, and giving your feedback, like a journal entry or a self assessment or a student speech critique. You will have an interview with me where you'll turn in your blueprint and a resume, kind of, you know, letting me get to know you and how you're working in the class. That'll be turned in after we have our interview. I'll, you know, kind of look at it. I think it's right before our interview. I'll look at it and give you feedback. And then there are speech assignment modules that happen throughout the class. So for example, you have an artifact speech, which is your first official speech in here. You have you choose the speech, which I give you a list of things to pull from, and you can do a speech on whatever you want. And then you have your informative or persuasive speech. You get to choose what the purpose is. That's the one that we deliver live. And then the final speech is like a quickie speech at the end of the semester. It's something fun that we do as the last assignment. But as you can see, almost half of the points of the class come from delivering speeches. So make sure that you're paying attention to speech days and not missing that stuff. All the other things that are in here are deeply explaining all the things I'm going over. Like I said before, the more you read these materials, the more you're going to understand about the class. If you don't read it, then you're going to have lots of confusion as the semester goes on. I also give you some information about my grading policy, what I expect in written assignments, some of the class rules that you should be aware of. And then also at the very bottom, I give you like drop deadlines and, you know, add code deadlines and stuff like that. So make sure that you're looking at all that stuff and you're, you know, prepared for the class. The other element of what you should be reading, so this is the syllabus, but the other thing you should be reading is the pages that I put forth for week 1. I know it looks like a lot, but if you click on it, you'll see it's just like a paragraph, kind of like the course material one that I had. But there's lots of detailed information that's going to be beneficial. So for example, one thing is this mobile app. If you don't have Canvas added to your cell phone, I highly recommend it. You can set up notifications that'll tell you when assignments are due. If I send out a message, it'll come to your phone first. So if you haven't added the app to your phone, I highly recommend doing that. Any questions that anybody has? What's the first assignment that's due this week? I'll ask you a question.
Participation.
But what is it?
The introductory public speaking.
Perfect. Yeah. So your introduction of yourself to the class. And then what do you have to do by the end of the day, Friday?
We have to read over somebody else's submission and respond to it.
The two people, right? Yes.
Two, correct.
You have to comment on two people. So for example, if I've commented on there, which I am going to post to the class as well, you have to comment on, two other people. So if I put my post up, I've got to find two other people that I'm going to comment and say something to. And then if I put my introduction up and someone responds to me, so for example, I put something about loving water and going out on my kayak. And let's say that someone in the class says, oh, I love kayaking too. Which rivers or lakes do you go to? I need to answer that question because it's a communication class. I want to continue that engagement. I don't have to get into a long story about it, but I do need to make sure that I answer. If they just say, hey, welcome to the class, Robin, nice to meet you, I don't have to respond to that. But if they do ask me a question or engage, I should go back to my intro and answer those people. But I definitely have to post my intro by midnight on Thursday, and I got to comment on two people by Friday night. It is open until the end of the day, Sunday. So if I don't do it until over the weekend, not my intro, but the commenting on other presentations, then that's fine. But if I do not comment by Sunday at midnight, then I won't get credit for that. So make sure that you're commenting intro by Thursday night and then try to do it by Friday night, if not by the end of the weekend. And I'll always try to give you until Sunday night at midnight, because I know a lot of people sometimes have a little bit more time on the weekends than during the week. And if you work on the weekends and you have a little bit more manageable time during the week, then get it done, before the weekend. Okay, any questions other than what we've talked about?
Yes, I have a question really quick.
Go for
So
it.
I went in right now and on our week 3, and I tried to go ahead and set up my name on one of the first slots.
Uh-huh.
But it's not giving me an option to save it. Is there another link I'm supposed to be downloading, or because I typed in my name and I typed in my course,
Uh-huh.
but then it doesn't give me like for me to save it, and it's having me wanting to sign in to like the Google Sheets, but I don't have this email link to that. I would have my personal one, and I don't know if that would throw it off.
Let me see. Hold on one second. So can you share your screen really quickly?
Sure. I was doing it on my iPad, but I can try to do it off my phone.
Yeah.
Oh, it says only the host can share this in this meeting.
Oh,
It
let me
says.
see really quickly. Hold on one second. I will do that real quick. Hold on. Okay, now try it.
Okay, so do I put photos, iCloud?
It
'Cause when I
should
put-
be. It should be at the very bottom. It should say share screen. In the little where you can click chat or participants or whatever.
I did, and what comes up is photos, iCloud Drive, Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, SharePoint.
It may be because you're on your iPad then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it maybe if you go on your phone and try to do it.
I'm on my phone right now.
Okay.
Oh, but now, right now on the Zoom meeting, I'm on my phone. But as we were on our Zoom meeting, I was also on my iPad, so I could follow you through.
Got it.
And still have your video on.
Got it.
So should I just try signing in, you mean, and doing that on my phone versus my iPad?
That's what I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Because has anybody else tried to sign up for the Google Doc yet? Has anybody done it in the group while we've been on Zoom? Okay, nobody else has done it. Okay, no worries. I don't know why it would be telling you that, because it's open for anyone, it automatically saves it. So you don't have to save it.
Okay.
So you would just put your name and then what CRN you're in, and then just exit out, and it should stay there.
Okay, perfect. So I will try it again.
So if you want to try that, and then I can just check and see if it actually shows up on my end. I don't mind doing it that way.
Okay, perfect.
So like,
So
right. So I
yeah.
see, are you at 7:45 to 7:48 on 126?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so you're in there. It saved it.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Okay,
Thank you
anybody
very
else you're welcome. Anybody else have questions? Okay, yes, ma'am. Jocelyn.
Um, I'm sorry I'm like loud or if it's like buffering, but before we do our speeches, you're gonna like talk us over on how to go over it, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'll give you a clear blueprint and tell you how to write it. We'll talk about practicing it. Everything that you need to know, you'll know before your first speech.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I asked.
And then before you get to the one where you've got to cite sources, I'll go over that as well, like how to do it, all that stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, if no one else has any questions, then you are free to go and have a wonderful Wednesday. It was nice to meet you through Zoom. And if you have questions after today, don't hesitate to message me and I'll be happy to answer them. But your major goal should be doing your introduction, commenting on 2 people, and then going and reading all those documents and making sure that you're kind of up to date on what the class is going to be like. And I will post this Zoom to the class by Thursday afternoon. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Go. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.